Paint is a new movie playing in theaters that I want to talk about. And I'm going to talk about this movie. But before I get into it, I'm going to do a quick little explain why I was late to the review of this movie. And if you don't really care about that, skip ahead about 40 seconds. Basically, I was busy with work. I worked 4 days this last week in a row, which, normally I work about 2 to 3 days a week. And that allows me to have a pretty decent paycheck. But I worked a bunch of extra hours, got a really fat paycheck I'm excited for this Thursday. But it was just spring break and too hard for me to go and sit and watch another movie. I was exhausted. And so I just decided to wait and see it later this week because I don't think anyone was going to majorly miss out on my review of Paint. But I still want to check out this movie. And so I did. And at first, when I heard about this movie and I saw the trailer, I was like, Owen Wilson playing Bob Ross? Like, who made this casting choice? Why is Owen Wilson playing Bob Ross? Right? Something like that. And then I realized, oh, it's not Bob Ross. And suddenly I got more interested, basically. Because it's like, okay, he's playing a caricature of Bob Ross, where it's loosely kind of based on Bob Ross, but it's not really Bob Ross. And I think this is something that a lot of audiences are confusing, because even the trailer, even the press around this movie is making it seem like Owen Wilson is Bob Ross. Like, this is some kind of like biopic movie, and it's not. And it's really stupid that they were doing that, because the thing is, this is a comedy that's based on a painter that has some similar elements to Bob Ross, like he has a TV show and an afro. That's really as far as the comparisons between him and Bob Ross go. So it works out well for that, because it's just trying to be a fun comedy. And I think the way I would describe this movie is it is very Wes Anderson-like, and not in direction or style, but maybe just the way the humor works, where a lot of times for me, when I watch a Wes Anderson movie, Wes Anderson has dialogue that is dialogue that takes me multiple viewings to catch the joke, because everybody has such a dry manner of speaking and serious tone to their voice that sometimes the punchline doesn't hit, and it takes a couple minutes for you to really think about it, and then you go, that's funny. Wes Anderson's very much like that. A lot of his films are like that, and it leads to some great humor in his films, and it works in this movie. A lot of the humor is very much like that, and it being very Wes Anderson or inspired, to me, is what it seems, is the biggest pro and strength of this movie. But it's also its biggest weakness. And the reason why I say pro is I did laugh. I did have moments I enjoyed the vibe of this movie, and, was having a little fun with it. But also, I could just tell that there's something missing about Wes Anderson style, which there is the beautiful direction, amazing cinematography, things like that are wonderful in his movies. And this movie is just kind of shot, like, in some sequences, just very plainly, very boringly. Other scenes it's shot okay and looks kind of nice, but it's not really anything that will blow your mind or really interest you or make you think afterwards. The cinematography and direction and the style presentation of this movie is just okay. It's just kind of whatever. It's better than your average stuff, but not enough to really leave an impact. And it feels very weird, because the humor is very much from a style of director that is all style and presentation, but this movie doesn't really have that, unfortunately. And I felt that was something that really bothered me about the film. And Owen Wilson is eating up the scenery. He gives a good performance. Everybody gives a good performance, and it's a fun, lively movie. But really, without this film, Owen Wilson being in this film, it wouldn't work as well. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I had some moments with it, but I honestly would not recommend you see this in theaters. it's a waste of time to see in theaters, especially since I think this is a movie that's very hit or miss, because I think that some people will go in with that misconception of the marketing and be very confused by it. Other people won't care, and they'll be able to enjoy this movie and have a great sense of humor to it. Also, it requires you have a very distinct style of humor that maybe not everyone does. And if you're that type of person that does not have that style of humor, then I don't think this movie's for you. And I'm sorry, it's just not. I think this is a good movie? Kind of. I give it like a C plus, where there's a lot good here, but it's kind of a messy movie a little bit. And it's hard to explain because it's a very weird movie, but it's also a very good movie in some instances, but also kind of not. And so I don't know where to put this movie on like a ranking scale or numbers or letter scores or whatever. That's why I don't tend to do those things, because it just doesn't really reflect my opinion super well. Like, it's kind of weird to give a movie like Air 10 out of 10 and then also give a movie like Dungeons and Dragons 10 out of 10. Because then people think you're bullshitting them and then you're full of shit. So I just try to just talk about what works about a certain movie, and what works and what doesn't work about it. And then you can just kind of go from off there what your interest level is in this film after what you've heard me say. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting experience, and I kind of would like to watch it again, as weird as that sounds.